Mark,
Hey, what's happening?
what's going on?
Nothing. Just finished reading Wonder Woman 797.
Yeah, we up for a little revenge? Revenge of
Somebody
the
is. I
God.
think the gods are definitely up for some revenge.
Okay, we will get to that. Wonder Woman 797 right after we take a look at this. Before we get started, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, that's the thumbs up. Don't forget that notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload new content. We are going to get right into this. The next episode or the next part of Revenge of the Gods actually occurs in Wonder Woman number 797. Um, if you recall, where we left things off is Hera had basically tricked Diana into yours is glossy.
Yeah, it's
Um,
extra gloss.
yeah, um, Diana had basically, Hera had tricked Diana into believing that she was going to make her a god in order to save both Themyscira and the mortal world as well. And it was only
Sarah,
once
what?
she started doing everything that she realized that she used the number one weapon of the gods, which is
Trickery.
trickery.
Which was ironic because they do address that in here. Wonder Woman
Mhm.
agreed to Hera's terms to save her people, even though Hera's goal is to wipe out her people. So it seemed kind of ironic. You knew Wonder Woman wasn't buying it. So Wonder Woman was using trickery as well. And they addressed that, the fact that
Mhm.
Hera and Wonder Woman both reached into their bag of tricks and pulled out a god's most valuable weapon, which is trickery. And Hera was just one step ahead of her and even laughed at her, thinking, "You really thought I was going to give you the powers of a god? I know better than that. You're Wonder Woman."
Right. Because you're right. Wonder Woman even said, I had no intention of giving you my part of the
Yeah,
bargain,
I
basically.
was, I was going to stab about the first chance I got to save my sisters and mankind. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
they're all a bunch of trickers.
right, exactly.
I think they
Um,
I think they call them tricks for short, right?
exactly. Well, that's a cereal, right? That's just for kids.
Oh, I spelled
Um,
it a different way.
Yeah. So we start out with basically almost exactly where we ended the last Revenge of the Gods, number one.
Mhm.
We find Hera has tricked Diana. She is now tied with her golden lasso, tied to some mountainside, basically being watched over by Titans and Gorgons. And Hecate comes and says that basically, she's here to help her. And Diana says, "No, I don't want your help because I know you're just like all the gods. You'll basically, just screw me over the way that they would have."
Yeah, I thought it was
Um,
pretty cool because for Greek mythology, it was a little Easter egg for that. They were the Promethean cliffs.
mhm.
So I thought that was a cool little name, and the way they look like Greek pillars on ancient Greek buildings that are just protruding out of a cliffside where people are tied up. So that was really cool too. I'm digging the mythology stuff in this. I haven't read Wonder Woman stuff in a long time. I'm just really really enjoying that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's why if you're a Wonder Woman fan, like going back, like I didn't really get the '70s part, but once George Perez really, leaned into the mythology part of it heavily, that's when I really got into Wonder Woman. Was
Yeah.
when plus it was George Perez, and I was like, I'm a big George Perez fan, but yeah, he really leaned into all the mythology stuff. So Wonder Woman's having trouble. She's kind of sort of making her bonds a little bit loose because she's admitting the fact, because this is again the lasso of truth. She's admitting the fact that's where she admits to herself that she would have turned on Hera and everything, and so the thing seems to be getting a little bit looser. But then out of nowhere comes basically comes our stranger.
Stranger comes up and lobs the head off of the sentry guarding the Promethean cliffs. There's a
Hmm.
Cyclops that is standing sentry to these prisoners. And while Wonder Woman's trying to work her way out, he just shows up, chops old buddy's head off, and says, "Hey, need a hand?" And he's able to untie her, loosen her up a bit, and get her out of there. And this
Right.
is the first interaction that we get between Wonder Woman and the Stranger. And we get a lot of cool little exposition here. It's still a big mystery, but some really cool conversation comes out of it.
Right. We don't know. Again, we still don't know who the stranger is. He basically says, as these Greek or mythological creatures start coming now at Diana, he says, she goes, you know what? Basically, I need to go down and fight them. And he goes, no, you need to fly. You need
Yeah.
to get the hell out of here.
And he wasn't saying that to protect her per se, but he knows,
Right.
like, and he does make the comment that he would have been right here regardless of if she was tied up or not. And she asks if he's a friend or foe kind of thing, and he explains that their goals are aligned. And he
Right.
says this while untying her, so she knows he's telling the truth. He was touching the lasso when he said it, and we're also getting a little idea of this dude's power set because he's all over the place. He's showing no fear. There's an army of mythological creatures coming at him, from minotaurs to undead, and he's just happy to hold the line. Has no doubt that this is not an issue for him. Like pulling out all kinds of cool little weapons, from bows to daggers to swords. He's just doing his thing. And he eventually convinces Diana to go ahead and listen to your little squirrel friend here. Don't ask questions, just roll with it and follow your squirrel friend. He'll get you back to Themyscira while I hold these jokers back for you.
Right. And we find out that the person who is sending all of these things after Diana is Euronymous, who
Mm-hmm.
is basically a being who feeds on all the rotted corpses in hell,
Hades, yeah.
in
And he was
Hades.
offered a deal by Hera that we'll give you fresh meat if you come up here and join our cause. So he's risen from Hades to come get some fresh meats with a Z.
Right. And so the little squirrel friend, like you say, he instructs Diana where to go. She ends up diving into this whirlpool, basically. And as she dives in, she finds that she's having, she's being drawn in, and she can't get out. And just as she's about to, it seems as though she's about to be pulled all the way down to the depths. She ends up coming up out of the well, and Nubia grabs her hand.
Yeah, the Well of Souls
Well
in
of souls.
Themyscira. Yeah. So Queen Nubia's there to give her hand out. How'd you know I'd be here? I have a deep connection to the Well of Souls, Diana. Glad to see you here, sister. What's going on? Nubia kind of updates her on that little backstory that we saw in the previous issues. Our
Mhm.
protection is down. The island's being attacked. We're defending. And then a few of the little corpses and stuff start popping up from where they follow Diana. So you get another cool little action scene with some very dynamic art shots here. Like you can
Mhm.
feel the motion. You can feel the hits. Zombies cracking. That dog's trying to. This new dog's crazy. But yeah, it was a cool little fight. They fight back the hordes, and then they look behind them because they hear a stranger's voice.
And who is it again? But it's a stranger again.
Just
And then
chilling.
almost exactly. And he's just sitting back, and he says that basically he's able to travel basically faster than anyone can understand. So I'm wondering if
Is
I
this
mean,
Hermes?
who?
Is this Hermes? We saw
That's who
Hermes
I
in
was
that last
thinking.
issue.
That's who I was thinking. Someone. It's got to be someone who's fast. It's got to be someone. Um, would Hermes be willing to go against Hera though? I guess that's the um
And then there's like, could this be possibly like a Chronos thing? Because he does make this statement here when they address the point that this dude seems like he's in two places at
right,
once, and he says
right.
time moves differently on Olympus. You know this, and in my line of work, it pays to travel fast. So he touched on a few things: time, speed. Like
Right,
they're giving us hints, but we
right,
don't know, which is fun. I don't think I want to know yet. It's too early to know.
right. Exactly. Yeah, we're only what, two out of the six. We're only a third of the way through. So
Yeah,
um
this is a bonus issue too. This isn't even issue two of Revenge of the Gods.
right, exactly. Um there's some more discussions with Nubia and Diana. And we then
Earthquake.
Yeah, exactly. There's an earthquake, um, and we basically find at the very end that Diana is now flying off to basically, join the battle against the gods, full steam, and we're promised that it will continue in Revenge of the Gods number 2.
Yeah, she did part ways with the stranger, saying, "This is
Right,
my path to take. You don't. I cannot ask you to spill more blood on my behalf. I need to handle my business." And then where Nubia and the Amazonian sisters were left, that earthquake was a ground cracking, and there was breathing happening, and it's Hades himself coming up from the depths with an army. So that's where
Right.
we left Queen Nubia and the rest of the Amazons.
Correct. But that's not where the issue ends, because there was a backup story
Mm-hmm.
with Mary Marvel. Yeah, yeah. It's hey, there are backup pages. Well, maybe it's not
Yeah, it
a
was short.
story. It basically was Mary Marvel getting involved with fighting some of the demons, some of the Walking Dead. Um, uh, basically using her power. At one point, she basically takes her electrical power, um, points her fingers towards the water, basically electrocutes everyone that's in the water. Um, and then she can't decide whether she wants to stay and fight, for the island, or she wants to go and find Billy because she's supposed to be finding Billy too. And they basically tell her, "Hey, look, you know what? If you neglect, you can't be a hero if you neglect those that you love."
Yeah.
So
So
she
they tried to
decides to
do this
go.
backup story and give like some weird existential crisis that Mary's having that we didn't see her having the last time we saw her. So she goes to the Amazon embassy so that she
Mhm.
can travel to Themyscira, which I thought was kind of weird because she just walked in there. There's no one else there, and this kid, at this point she's just a kid, just travels
Right.
through a Stargate to Themyscira. Like that's just yeah, come and go as you please. But I thought that was a little odd, and the whole thing was just repeating exposition that we saw in Revenge of the Gods issue 1, just getting context to what's going on there at Themyscira, with the guard being down, with everyone invading, and it was just showing us the same stuff over again. I think you were
Yeah.
right with your assessment of it.
Yeah, I think we were talking beforehand. It was kind of like, I felt as though the story was just kind of them saying, "Hey, we haven't forgotten that Billy's a part of this too. So since it's Wonder Woman, we'll throw in Mary, and we'll, just kind of say, hey, you know what? Come with us to, issue number 2, and we'll get to Billy in just a second."
Yeah,
Um, because really, Billy has been almost no part of this. He was on what, 2 pages, I think, in the first issue, and
two
then he's been
panels.
nothing here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, so I think it was just kind of a nod to say, hey, we know Billy's part of this. Don't leave us. We know what we're doing. And again, Mary is kind of.
But all in all, this was a solid installment, especially for being a tie-in issue. It tied in heavily, added
Mhm.
tons of context. I don't know what issue 2 is going to do, obviously, of Revenge of the Gods, but I'm happy to have read this going into it with this extra stuff. So if
Yeah,
you're
and you
reading the
really did.
series proper, this might be one that you'd have been happy to pick up.
I was gonna say you almost have to compared, considering where they ended. This could have been a Revenge of the Gods number 2, because
Yeah,
if you
because it
miss
was a
this
direct
issue,
thing with Diana. It was direct with
exactly,
Diana. Yeah, she
exactly.
made a lot of ground.
If you're just buying, I mean, we'll see what they do with Revenge of the of Gods number 2, but yeah, I'm thinking there's got to be somewhere there's going to be a panel with a little blurb at the bottom say, "Did you miss this? Go read Wonder Woman
Yeah.
number 797."
'Cause it went from her becoming a god twist to not just she's tied up. She was saved. She stormed an island. She went to Themyscira and she left Themyscira again. So she's traveled a
Yeah,
lot since that last issue.
exactly. So yeah, this is not just one of those throwaway crossovers. This
Mm-hmm.
is definitely a major part of what's going on. So, but the next is going to be Revenge of the Gods number 2 that comes out this week. So we'll see where that goes. I am really looking forward to what they're going to do with Billy and the Rock of Eternity and everything that they're going to, um,
Yeah,
you know,
this is almost like I think this is going to be a massive reset button for this character, being that he's I don't want to say he's been sidelined for a while, but he's been sidelined for a while. And we had the little introduction to him here and there and the Lazarus stuff, the very minor stuff that he did back in that last Teen Titans run, which was actually major. That's what really sidelined him is those
mhm,
events. But we know that we have a new series coming with Mark Waid writing it. And we know how Mark Waid feels about this character and what his intentions are in doing with this character. So that being said, this is probably going to be crucial to like the little setup for what he's
right.
about to be doing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so too. I think there's, um, and then we have this will be leading into Wonder Woman 800, and then there's going to be a whole new thing with Tom King. So it'll be resetting everything for Diana Prince, for Wonder Woman because, from what I understand, there's going to be a lot with espionage and things like that coming out of the Tom King writing. So,
You're going to go back
um,
to the pre-Perez era.
Oh man, yeah. Take all her powers away from her.
That quick.
There
Give her a sports jacket and a speed suit.
you go. There you go. Maybe not so much espionage as I guess but there's going to be something with the U.S. government involved, and I mean you know, that's kind
That's
of
his
Tom
arena.
Cruise's wheelhouse.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Tom
his
Cruise's
arena.
wheelhouse
He's
too.
literally what was he? Did he work at the CIA? I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yep.
he was a black ops agent, but he literally worked for the CIA. That's why so much of his stuff slants that way.
That's why one of the first things he did was Grayson.
Grayson. Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, but we get there ahead of ourselves. We have to get there first. So
Yeah, we'll
um,
get there though. We gonna get there.
oh yeah. Oh, we gonna get there.
We gonna get
Uh,
there.
but that's going to do it actually for this issue. Again, really good issue,
Yeah.
very important to the overall series. Got
Nice
to make sure
cover
that
too.
you
Really
take a
nice
look at that.
cover.
So don't forget before you leave, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, hit the notification bell so you're notified. Leave a comment for us. Let us know where you want to go, where you want us to go from here. We are planning on moving into the Dawn of DC as things roll out over the year, but there may be other things that we want to get involved in as well. So leave comments. Let us
Also,
know what you want us to do.
Wednesday at 9:30
9:30.
is
Yes.
Guess That Key. This is Guess That Key week, so don't forget either turn on the notifications or go ahead and bookmark the show. It should get built in the next day or two here and uploaded, be ready ahead of time.
Yep.
I'm assuming.
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
our
Guess
guests
That
this week
Key.
are Tyler from half of Whack Comics, Shattered Glass, and we have Actual Dracula. So two very, very entertaining people will be with us. Not that we're not entertaining, but two
We're
very,
not.
very entertaining people will be joining us on Wednesday night, 9:30, right here on this channel. Don't forget. All right, so that's going to do it. And so as of right now, you are leaving Sector 2815. Actually, I'm Paul. He's Mark.
But we are Legion.
Yeah, exactly. Something like cut up all those things, put them
Take
together, and
all
you
of
have our
those
outro.
words, put them in a Scrabble bag, and pull them out in your own leisure. See you next time.